again, everybody. So glad you could join us. We've been working on a little painting, and we're using a limited palette. And hope you've been watching us for the last few weeks. But if you haven't, to bring you up to date, we're just using 4 colors plus a white, and to get every color in the rainbow. And every color you see on the canvas is derived from those 4 colors. Now, and we've been working a lot putting highlights, buildings, and different things in. Today we're going to add a few more details to it. One of the first things I would like to add, let me get a little of this dark brown. Let's add a few little fence posts and stuff. You know, these people may have a gate here or something. In order to do that, we're just taking a little color. A little of the dark color, a little dark brown. Now, I don't know if you notice what's happening here, but we're making little fence posts. And as they get closer to you, they get a little bigger, and they get a little taller. That person's got their lot fenced in. This one over here don't have. So. Now, in order to highlight those, what we'll do, matter of fact, let's do it with a palette knife. I love to do freehand stuff like that. In order to highlight it, grab a little bit more of that yellow, just in case. But grab a little white. I want it to be light. And if you notice now, we've taken that orange-looking color, and I call this a wood color. It's actually sort of a flesh color also, if you'll notice. Okay, that color then we're going to take and get on our palette knife, get a little roll, and just take a little teeny bit of it and put on our fence post. Just a little roll. Now what you can do, if you usually right on top of the fence post is a little lighter, so you just take a little bit just like that and sort of touch it right on the corner of your palette knife. You do that with a brush too, but I love working with a palette knife. And you can highlight anything else you want to while you got that. You can highlight your steps if you want to. Come down in the road. Tell you what I want to do in that road though, so I'm gonna quit doing that with them. Now we've got to put something either a barbed wire or something along the top of those fence posts. And we'll do it with that color there. Now I'm doing this sort of freehand, and it makes a very, very pretty picture, but it's not 100% accurate, but I love the freehand stuff, and I think it's pretty. And most of our work, if you've followed us over the years, we're a realist. We paint real looking things that look like they do in life. Now there's a lot of other artists that don't do that, and nothing wrong with that. As a matter of fact, one of these days we're going to paint you something like that, because I like that form of art too. Now if you see what we've got there, we've got a pretty good fence. Now you can go up and down on them if you want to. I don't know if we're going to do that or not, but I like the way they look. Now there's one other thing on the back side of those little poles. You can come in here with just a touch of that. And that'll give you a highlight on the back side of them. Now, I'm going to wipe that palette off a little bit. I mean my knife off a little bit. And I'm going to grab up a small little brush that's full of paint. Oops. That's also full of thinner. Let me see if I can get some of that out. I tell you, this type of painting to me is just, I guess, some of the most fun that you can have, really, because you're just creating it as you go. And to me, that just adds a lot of interest to it. Now I'm going to get a little bit of this color out of that. Now I know you saw us paint the stones and rocks and stuff, so we're probably going to do a little bit of that too. Matter of fact, we could do a little bit of that right now, and that way you'll have a lot of detail in there. So let's go ahead and do that. This little brush here probably looks like it might be the perfect one for it. I'm going to clean it out as good as I can. I'm going to go right into one side. I tell you what, I'm going to lighten that just a little bit more with a little bit of white. Now I like that color, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to try a little bit of this color. And the color that I mixed together is let's call it flesh color or wood color. And a little of our light blue, and of course it had a little bit of the Payne's gray in it. And I'm going to get that on one side. Pretty full. I'm going to go to the other side, which is pretty dry, and I'm going to get this dark brown. A whole lot of it. Now let's see. Yeah, that's about the colors that I like. Now you can see a whole bunch of little rocks along there, and there'd probably be a whole bunch out in here too. And we'll make them a little smaller because you gotta, maybe this is a little gravel road maybe. I hope you can see all that detail in there. And this is pretty fast now. You don't have to spend a lot of time with it. Now, how I'm making them smaller, if you notice those are real large over there, and the way I'm making them smaller, I'm actually barely touching. In other words, instead of pressing down like I did with that, and I'm just barely taking the corner of this brush. And see, we've got hundreds and hundreds of stones in there. And when you get to where it's not working, just go back and get a little bit more color. A little bit more color. I'm putting hundreds and hundreds of little stones in here. I hope you can see those on TV. I can see them real good here. Hundreds of little stones. Now we've added a lot of detail in a short amount of time there. I want to put another little point of interest over here. But first I'm going to do a little bit of edging here. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that, but what that does, that really separates that bank from this over in this area. Okay, now, what I really would like to do here is add just a little bit more interest on this side. I love that old white house over there. Let's put a let's put an old dad's tree here. You want to? If you notice, I'm just pulling that towards me, and I made this end bigger and that end a little smaller. Okay? And the reason I done that is that's perspective again. Now I'm going to get out my knife again. I love to do this. You can do this with a brush, but I love to work with this knife. I'm not sure, that's not a little too light to start with, so I'm going to grab a little of that. Let's try just a little bit of that. What I'm doing, I'm just laying my knife down and just pulling it over it a little bit. If you notice, it adds a bark effect. Now I'm going to add just a touch more over here, and then I'm going to now you see how much interest that adds to it? For the backside again, you can take a little blue, two blue, that still may be a little blue. Let's try a little bit and see. I believe it needs a touch of Payne's gray in it. Yeah. See, that adds highlight on the shadow side. And you've got an old dead tree laying down there. Now, in order to get the area around it, I need a smaller brush. So I'll pick up a little highlighter brush. Now this is going to have to be real thin. Okay, I want to show you another little instrument that we use. I may have shown you this before. I'm going to lay my palette down there. And I hope that's not in the way. Maul stick. This is what all the early painters used. Leonardo da Vinci, all of them used this. What this does, this keeps your hand free. In other words, you can just lay your hand down. And I'm putting a little line around this tree, you see. And now we've got a hole down in it. I hope you can see that. Same way here. Right on this side. You don't want that to be straight. You want it to be a little crooked. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to rinse that out just a little bit. Put just a little detail back inside this. I'm going to try a little of this white. Reach way over here. Now if you notice I'm putting a little circle around there, makes it sort of look round. Okay, that's all we need to do with that right now. Now we've added a lot of detail real easily with some big brushes. So I want to go back and use, actually it's a fan brush. It's not really big, but it's pretty good size. I still need a little more highlights here, and I want a whole lot of them right in this area here. In order to do that, let me mix up a little quick color. I want a pretty orange color. So I'm going to grab a little of that, a little of my true red, put right here. Yeah, that's it. I want to plant a little flowers. And you got to keep your brush pretty full because I've got so much paint on it that it's picking up that color underneath. Now I may put a little moss up the side of that tree there if we have time. Now I want a little bit of that on the other side, so let's go over there. Especially along the road here. Maybe a little bit up in there. Back in here, whoops, wrong color. Let's wipe that out a little bit. Yeah. We'll sort of blend that together. And I might clean that brush one more time. All right. And we're just adding a lot more detail in the background back in here, just to give it a little more depth. And a little bit right in here, I think. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Now, I wanted to do, I've got a few minutes left here. Rinse that out really good. This one, I think it's got the color in it that I want. So I'm gonna rinse it out good first though. Okay, try to dry it a little bit. Now, if you notice, we left our clouds really white. Actually, there was no white color under them. But what I want to do now is go back and highlight them. And I'm going to take this brush. You can use any brush you want to. But watch this. And I'm just taking the brush and jamming it into the canvas. And some of it a little lighter than others, but I'm just jamming it into the canvas. And you see what that does to our clouds? That really makes them look alive. Looks like they're moving now. And they actually do, you know, they move all the time. That's what that straight white does. It looks like they're floating through the sky now, and we like that. I'll blend the bottom just a little bit. I like that. Okay, we've got about a minute left. And if you notice, we floated our cloud right down into the painting. Got 1 minute left. With that, we're going to add, I wanted to add a little yellow in here. Not much. Not much. Put a little moss up that tree. Okay, I'm going to add just a touch here, and we're going to call this painting a finished painting. All right, rinse that brush out. Hey, I'm so glad you was with us today. Remember, now next week, come back and be with us, and we'll have another beautiful painting to work on for you. I hope you can paint along with us. If you want to order some of our stuff, why, just call the number on your screen. Goodbye, and God bless.